What up, At Ease Podcast? Another episode, another opportunity to get with some good people, talk with some good people. Shout out to Legendary 30. You know, my guy. I'm gonna say he got me thinking, oh, it's some AO stuff. He got the people from Georgia thinking it's some Bulldog stuff. But if you know him, and you know what the colors represent. Especially when you see the colors, you know what they represent. So, quick question to you. All right,
Okay.
we know who your number one is. Who's the number two? Is it Kobe or LeBron?
Come on, man. If anybody that knows me know that my number 2 is Kobe.
Okay.
Bean.
Okay.
It's Bean.
Okay, all right. Okay, I respect that. There's no arguments. It's no arguments. You know, he played the game hard, so no arguments there. But obviously we know who the number one is because that's what the colors represent. So all you Chicago Bulls fans, stop playing.
That's where he was going with that. I was like,
Chicago
okay.
Bulls, stop playing. Like that's how he got out of the design. It's nice. But I'm gonna say some AO stuff. You know, IOUs. So he understands.
I can rock with that.
I thank you. That's how I'm gonna look at it. And the Bulldogs fans gonna think it's for them, but we know who it's really for. But yeah, great stuff. Go to the website. Get your gear, hats, all that. And it's authentic, good quality, all good stuff. Not no gilding, none of that. It's good stuff. So, yeah, legendary30.com. Get there.
Block.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So yeah, man, doing big stuff with that. This is the time of the year. You know, some people, you know, as we know, and I'm gonna get to my guest here in a minute, but as we know, you know, this time of the year, like people get like, you know, down, you know, because they missing family.
Right.
Deployed. Shout out to the Truman and all those ships and sailors, Marines, you know, Army, you know, whoever deployed right now because we know it's tough. We all been there. We all been there, definitely been there. So it's like times that you gotta say like, wow, you gotta kind of give it up to those people that's abroad.
Oh, yeah.
They out there doing it. You know, some of them miss Thanksgiving. They definitely gonna miss Christmas.
Yep.
So respect to them that's doing what they do because a lot of people can't do it. So much love and respect to them.
Absolutely.
You know, is it like a time that, you know, y'all can think about when y'all was deployed and you like, man, I really wanted to be at home right now?
Oh, man. Every time I was on deployment.
He said every time.
Every time. It's just crazy that you just brought up the Truman. That's my second command, too. But I'm actually in the process of doing care packages to go to the Truman.
Oh, okay. We're going to get into all of that. We're going to get into all of that.
You know, ironically, you know, around this time last year, I was deployed, you know, on my last deployment on Baton.
Oh, wow.
So I definitely understand what the sailors are going through out there right now. Been there, done that, you know. At this point, I don't remember how many times it's been, but, you know, I'm thinking about that one because that was the most recent for me. You know, it was last year. You know, last year we left in July, got back in March. You know, so it got extended a couple of times. So I'm definitely understanding, sympathetic, have some empathy, you know, for those guys out there right now.
Yeah. I know you talking about getting extended. It's like you probably felt a certain way mentally, like, well, this is my last ride, so I'm just going to enjoy it. But there's some people on there like, I'm ready to get back into the house.
Yeah, and to me, like that's the hardest thing, right?
Yeah.
For every extension, because before you leave, you mentally prepare yourself to be going for a certain period of time.
Yeah.
And then you have to kind of keep resetting yourself. For some people, it's better at it than others. You know? Some people, it takes a lot for them to mentally prepare themselves. And then when you out there and it's just like, I don't know when, you know, after multiples.
Right.
And you can mentally prepare yourself, you know.
You
for
telling that story.
That first, okay, you get that. Because again, we were supposed to be back in January. We didn't get back to March, right? So it's just like, okay, January gonna come and go. And then you get that news, we're gonna extend. So you reset your mind. Say, okay, I'm gonna prepare myself to when they told me I'm gonna go home the second time. And this is like, nah, we're gonna do it one more time. And you know, we say it all the time. You get that feeling like, man, I don't know when I'm coming home.
I don't know when I'm coming home.
So that can be a real thing. You know?
Yeah. You're going to retire soon, so you ain't going to be saying that.
Yeah. I could definitely say that was my last one.
Yeah. My guy, my man, Me and him served together on my last ship when I retired off of. Avid Eagles fan. You know, you could see him at the games doing his thing. You know, from South Jersey, Atlantic City, Trenton, Camden, all of them South Jersey area. So I know all about that. Gerald Johnson, man, thanks for coming through, bro.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
20-year veteran, AO. So
yes.
yeah, IOUs all day.
I'm outnumbered
And
right now.
thanks, man, for coming through, man. Because like I said, I'm watching you. You know, proud of you, especially like your movement and what you're doing. You know, I didn't see that coming, but I'm feeling it. So much love to you and what you're doing right now, man. You know, hey, it doesn't. It takes good people to give back.
Mhm.
You know, it takes everybody can't do it. Some people do it, but some people have a passion for it.
Right.
You know, right now you kind of, you know, flashing that light of passion on that give back mission. So yeah, we got to talk about that.
Oh,
so yeah, so the times that you like when you was deployed, you know, around this time of the year, like how did you get through that? Like we're gonna I'm gonna get to why you joined the Navy and all that, but like right now we talking about that.
I think for me, while I was deployed, I think just leaning on whoever else was there around, you know, as far as like the friendships that you make when you're on deployment, that help you get through it, you know.
Yeah.
Because you know sometimes like when you go on deployment, like later on in my life when I went on deployments, you know, married and you got, you know, everything going on, so you
Right.
might not leave when you go to deployment. You might not leave on a good note. You might
Mhm.
leave in an argument. So when you come, you know, when you on deployment now, you got all this drama going on,
Mhm.
and your mental might not be good. Vice,
Right.
you know, when you was younger, you ain't really have all this family stuff. So you know, it was just you absorbing all of everything that you know it took to be on deployment. So
Yeah.
I think for me, it was a relationship. You know, kind of. I'm not the most religious person,
Mhm.
but I think it was kind of like a spiritual thing that helped me guide me through all those different deployments and
Yeah.
things like that, and just surrounding myself around positive people.
Mhm.
So you
Okay.
know, it's different type of characters that you're going to encounter on
Absolutely.
Oh
ships.
yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
and you
Yeah.
just got to use, you know, you got to use your discernment, you know, about, you know, who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
And, you know, those people that are positive, you know, they're going to, you know, help encourage you or help uplift you when you're
Right.
having those days. Because there's going to be plenty of days when you're on
Mhm.
deployment, you know, you depressed, you
Right.
know, about
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's just being around good people just would help, you know, keep me and, you know, of course, family back home, you know,
Yeah.
whenever you can talk to
Talk
them
to
when
him.
you ain't in
Yeah.
River City,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
you know.
Right.
And that's what helped get me through it.
That's good, man.
Yeah,
Oh
because
yeah.
That's
you
good.
just broke down some layers, you know what I
Yeah.
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
For real.
Like you
Yeah.
said, you know,
Yeah.
from the single junior sailor who like they are they surroundings, like you know, everything that I've messed with, rock with
Yep.
is out here with me. You know what I'm saying? Versus when you're a much older sailor, and like you said, you know, you ain't been a sailor. Every time you pull away from that pier, it ain't always on good terms,
It
you
ain't.
know.
No.
So
No.
it's those times, and you know, we try our best not to let those bad times be a deployment, but
Right.
you know, sometimes it may happen that way. You know what I mean? So, like you said, you starting that deployment on a whole nother note. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, you cut some layers and touch some different levels. You know what I'm saying, of a career. You
Mm.
Yeah.
know? Oh yeah,
Mm.
Most definitely.
serious.
Imagine doing that without like the way like you could communicate now, your social
Man, come
media
on
and
now.
all of that. So
Yes.
if you didn't have that, and it's been like them first couple of weeks with no really communication.
Come on, man. Like now they got well, you was just last year was G-Dub, so you might not even know, but they got the Wi-Fi. They
Yeah.
can be in the racks
Yeah.
or on the
Yeah.
FaceTime. See, you'll know
Nah, I
about
don't know
that. You
about
was
that.
20. You know, they hey man, a lot done changed since
A lot done
2020,
They got
man.
luxury now.
You
They got
know,
luxury.
Yeah.
like I mean, granted, I ain't feel none of that on my deployment, you know.
Right.
But yeah, man, that'd be like in the racks on the FaceTime and
That's good stuff.
everything.
I like it.
Yeah,
though.
I ain't mad at him.
No,
You know,
I like
I
it
just wish
though.
I could have been a part of it, but I
But
ain't
yeah,
hating
times
on
have
it.
changed.
Yeah.
You know, we got to the point we can send an email or two.
Right.
You know,
Right.
The-
That was a
know,
big
sneak
deal.
on
That's better
Pop's
than
line.
because you got to think.
Yeah.
Pop's line. So you
Yeah.
got to think when you came in, when you joined. You know, you leaving Jersey. What was that about? Like, what was going on?
For me, honestly, I never had no aspirations of coming into the military at all, nothing like
Yeah.
that. So, one of my closest friends, he had just lost his daughter, had died of sudden infant syndrome, something like that. I forgot
Oh
what it's called,
man.
something like that. So just passed, and he started, selling drugs, doing all type of stuff. So,
Yeah.
my mom was like, he can stay with us, get him right. You know what I mean? We gonna make sure, stop doing stuff that like
Right.
that. So we ended up taking an ASVAB, in Philly. And, I'm like, yo, you need to get out of here. Ain't nothing out here for you,
Right.
Y'all was already finished with
right.
school or
Yeah.
Okay.
Already graduated high school.
okay.
I think it was about 19,
Okay.
19.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this was
Before
around
20.
2000 because you did
Yeah.
the 20 piece. So
Yeah.
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 Yep. So this was about 2001 time
Okay.
frame.
Mm-hmm.
So took the ASVAB, stuff like that. And he didn't, score high enough, so he never came in. So, I just took it for support. You know what I
Right.
mean? Just took it for support. I ain't have no plans because
I don't think I ever heard that.
No, for real, I took it for
That's
support.
different.
I took it for
Bruh.
support. So
That's a new one.
because
I don't think I ever heard that.
I knew this dude wouldn't have did it, and I gotta show him this whenever y'all do
Yeah.
what y'all do. But I gotta show him this because he gonna laugh because this is just true story. So he would have never did it if I wouldn't have went. You know what I mean? Because we was
Mhm.
drinking and stuff like that. I took the ASVAB. I was hungover. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So we in there, and I'm like, yo, do this. You need to get away. So did it, but he got into an argument with with petty officer whoever, and we didn't even know what a petty officer was. She
Right.
like, I'm petty officer, whatever. I'm like, okay, all right, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he felt it by like one point, and I was like, man, did she mess with his stuff? I'm like, I ain't know.
Oh
So,
yeah, you don't know. Right.
but the recruiter, whatever that took us there, he was like, hey. He was like, you score real high, He was like, oh, it's like 70 or whatever. I'm like, what? And I was like, that's a failure. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I'm thinking the
you
regular
thinking like some
grading system.
regular.
I ain't know what ASVAB was or
The
whatever.
school system,
So
the 70 is out of there.
right,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
in Jersey, 65, you're done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Toast.
Yeah.
So he was like, yeah, you gotta come down. I was like, no, but I was actually, I had financial aid, but it had fell out at that time, because of parent stuff. But that's a whole nother
Right.
story. But so I was like, I'm not coming in. I'm trying to go back to school and do what I need to do. So I was like, look, if I don't get my financial aid by this time frame, I might think about it.
Yeah.
So, about a year went by, I'm seeing, everything around me in Jersey is just, all type of, you already know,
Right.
you know what goes on,
Yeah.
Typical
in the
city.
hood, so I was like, go, I'm out. They was like, no, you ain't. You ain't on. It's the best decision I ever made.
Really.
Hands down.
Man.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah.
But I didn't come on my own right. I just, like I told you, I was just there for support.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
support.
And that's how I came in.
Do you like think back at times of say like, man, I wonder what if I would what I have done if I would have stayed home? I think about that a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. Now that I'm older, I think about it a lot now.
I think I don't know. So I know where I'm from, like a lot of my family is like in law enforcement, Department of Corrections, stuff like that.
Okay.
It's a whole bunch of prison system stuff and things like that. That's what my father did, uncle did, and my uncle was in the Marines too. So I had those examples of, strong work ethic, and they was doing stuff like that. My grandma was a social worker,
Yeah.
and then she worked in the prison and, schools all over, you know what I mean? So a lot of law enforcement stuff. So and I was gonna go that route. I still would have been a civil servant type, whatever.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was gonna go that route, and I just knew I wanted to do school, so I was going, get a criminal justice degree. Everybody like, oh, I'm gonna get me a criminal justice degree. I was one of those at first.
Right.
When you're younger, you don't really know. But I'm glad that it panned out the way it did. But I think I would have went that route, and I don't know, but it probably could have been something different because I never wanted to stay in the area I was at because it wasn't really nothing there.
Right.
I'm always in Philly.
Right.
Philly is-
Right there.
Philly
Right
is the
across the
second
bridge.
home,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I never really
20-minute drive.
stayed where I
Yeah.
was at. I was from the
Yeah.
time I got my license, I was in New York, I was down in Bmore,
Right.
in DC, always in
Right.
Philly. So I was always moving around, and I always wanted to just do things and see different things. So I guess in that part, the Navy definitely did work for me because it worked to my advantage,
Okay.
Later on. But yeah,
So either way, you would have found yourself away from Jersey.
I would have found
anyway.
myself away.
Oh, yeah,
I would
yeah.
have got out of there. I don't know how, but I would have got out of there.
Yeah.
I would have definitely got out of there.
Yeah. Probably like the same, like million of us said the same thing. Like, I gotta go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Glad
I
I
gotta
did.
go.
And when you left, shoot, you went pretty far. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You really got out of there. First command over in
Yeah.
Japan.
I did.
So how was that culture shift, that culture shock, going from
Man.
inner city Jersey to Far
Yeah.
East Asia?
Yeah.
So my first whole just trying to grasp it all over there was crazy. The time difference was crazy, and then just seeing their culture. Where we from, everybody rude.
Right.
You go to order something, they rushing you to take your order, and if you ain't getting in, in the time minute, next. So like just seeing how polite everybody was in Japan, how well mannered everybody was in Japan, how clean everything was in Japan. Like it was like, but yeah, I couldn't believe it. So and then my first command was the Kitty Hawk. So they call it the original gangster ship. Not the Ike. You know what I mean? It's the Kitty Hawk. You know what I mean? But Kitty Hawk was crazy because you had. That was my first introduction to people from all over, from whether it's from the South, because I wasn't really, even though I got roots in the South, like South Florida or whatever, but I never really wasn't around a lot of people, different people from all other areas of the country.
Right.
Growing up in Jersey, it's a melting pot.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you used to all races, but I wasn't used to, all these different, cultures, you know what I mean, from, around the country.
And
So
how they live and thought
and how they
everything
live and how they,
Yeah.
stuff. So that was pretty cool. And but Japan and Kitty Hawk was wild because at that time, like we all young kids and everybody still got the hood street home mentality.
Absolutely.
Right.
So we out there just crazy. So I mean it was fun. But long story short, while I was out there, the people I was around, they labeled us as gang members, straight up. You know what I mean? So
Out in Japan?
out in Japan. So like, I mean, if you talk to some people around that time frame, early 2000s, 2002 to 2006 time frame, you talk to people, they'll tell you about, stuff like that. But yeah.
'Cause I can't remember. That was around the time where the curfew and everything was a major
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
thing.
Yeah. You had people that was you had sailors that was like killing Japanese nationalists, and then there was a whole bunch of crazy stuff that was going on over there. So it was definitely a time to be
'Cause
alive.
even at that time, you thinking like, wow, I just left all that craziness in the States where I grew up at. Now he's doing
And it seemed
stuff
like it
over
was
here.
worse on the Kitty Hawk because everything that was going on the Kitty Hawk, I mean, you name it, from drugs to murder plots. I mean, like, I kid you not. When I'm telling you this stuff, that's what I told you. Like, if we ever write a book, or if I ever write a book, like it's gonna be a #1 seller.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
because
It's
like
gonna be one.
it'll be a #1 seller. The stories is like they crazy stories. Everything is true.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. It was just
Yeah.
it blew my mind.
Yeah.
I felt right at home because I was used to
Yeah,
chaos.
right.
Being around the
right.
chaos.
I was used to the chaos anyway.
But you didn't know like that type of stuff
But
was
I didn't
going
know that
on
was going on in the
in
military.
another, not just the military, in another part of the country.
Right, in another part of the country. So
Yeah.
that
So we see the stuff from TV, from like LA or something like that back in them times. But to know that stuff is going on in another country.
yeah. And it was going on it was crazy. It was crazy. So I don't know how I escaped. I had I had good leadership that took me under their wing and made sure that, I had a good course.
Who are some of those leaders, man? Give them a shout out, man. They
Okay,
helped you survive the jungle.
Oh
it
yeah,
seems like.
yeah. I had one. It was a GMC Perry, and he definitely looked out for me. Was a big inspiration because when you black and you're labeled as a knucklehead,
Yeah.
they're gonna toss you aside. Ain't nobody going to take their time, but he took the time. seen stuff in me and things like that. So,
Mm.
and it went a long way. So once I seen that somebody actually gave a damn,
Mhm.
I was like, you know what? Do your part.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah. That's an eye opener.
Oh yeah,
That's an eye opener.
it definitely was.
Yeah, that's an eye opener.
Best ship ever though. So
Okay.
Best ship ever.
Kitty
Gonna put the flag on that. All right. So after Kitty Hawk, where we end up at?
came to VA, came to Virginia, got my my introduction to the 757.
Yeah.
But a lot of us from the Kitty Hawk came over to Virginia.
Mhm.
So and that was crazy. So we all came to the Truman. And I love the Truman. The Truman was love. So
yeah, I always hear good stuff about the
the Truman was
Yeah.
love. The Truman was my actual best ship as far as camaraderie. And the Truman is where I really, really felt IOS. You know what I mean?
So you came in, rewind just a little bit. So you came in designated or under?
Yeah, I came in the AO.
You came in the AO.
Came in
okay,
the AO.
because when you talking about 70, I know the recruiter didn't do
so-
the dirty like
No,
that.
he didn't. So the recruiter was like, "All right, you finally in here. We gonna get you something, and we gonna get you out of here." I'm like, "All right, what
Nice.
you got?" Then he just dropped all these different packets on there. I ain't know what ratings was at that time. And then he was like, some of them got bonus. I was like, all right, now you talking. I'm like, so then he was like, all right, well, this one got $2,000 or this one got $5,000, and AO had a $5,000 bonus. So I was like, and I didn't know what it was. I mean, he was like guns and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, bet. So that's how I became an AO.
All right.
But
Don't feel bad.
no,
When I read that it was about guns, that's why I
yeah.
became an AO.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why. And then when I found out what they really do, I tried to switch to AE.
Yeah.
They was like, "Oh no, you got like a week left of aircrew school, and we sending you to Millington."
Yeah, but the
That's the only
crazy
reason
part
why I
about it,
switched.
the crazy part about it is that I ended up working with mainly guns my entire career anyway.
Yeah.
Because when I went to Japan, I was in G2 working with gunners mates, and then
Because I seen the GM and I was just like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So then once you start, when you get good at something,
when you get good, it kind of keep you.
and
in that
everybody
world.
talk. You got
Yeah.
such and such coming there. So now
Yeah.
I'm back. With gunners mates,
Yeah.
running the armory and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that.
So you back to back sea duty
Mhm.
from Kitty to Truman. So what time frame we talking about right now?
This was 2006. So I left Japan in
Yeah.
2006.
Mm.
And I only had to do 2 years on the Truman.
Mhm.
So I did day deployment and re-enlisted, out to sea, tax free. So
Yeah.
that was dope.
Mhm.
And then
So your first re-enlistment was tax free.
Yep,
That's what's up.
it was tax free. And I got to pick, where I wanted to go. But then I had, just like I said, it was IOs. It was
Right.
close AOs. And then, I really got to see how, our rate carried weight, and how we interacted with each other and how
Right.
we interacted with the rest of the Navy, and how they took care of each other,
Mhm.
and that stuck with me. So they took care of me. I got to go wherever I wanted to go, and when I re-enlisted, because you could re-enlist for orders, back then.
Yeah, right,
So
right.
yeah.
I took the
Yeah.
money. I took the
Yeah.
money. I got to leave deployment early, and I went to
Yeah.
my next duty station, which was NMC, that Oceana.
Oceana.
Oh yeah.
Stayed in the
Yeah.
757.
Stayed in the 757, and I met a whole bunch of people over there.
What year is this?
This was 08 to 11 that I
Mhm.
was in Oceana.
So and I know we
Well, you
gonna
there with Lucretia Fears and all that?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And
for
twice
real?
Buchanan. So that's
So which, yeah.
yep. So I
Man.
met them there. So
Yeah.
we came up together at that time frame. So Lucretia was a first class, and me and Buchanan was both second classes at that time. Yep.
For real.
Mhm. Yep.
So I mean we're gonna get further into it, but the volunteering, so I ain't heard you mention nothing about that yet.
Yes.
So
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's was you doing a little bit of that in Japan,
Yes.
and everything?
So I was.
Or-
So, and that's what actually saved me from all my captain passes. So I told y'all, man. But so like when I would
That's
go
what
up to
saved
captain's
me.
mass, and it was several times,
several times.
I had it is what it is.
right.
I had a lot of different people in my chain of command that seen some of the stuff that I was doing in the community and stuff like that, and that's what saved me. And they would give me a chance. They gave me another chance
Right.
because of the good work that I was doing. And once I got stateside to VA, it just intensified.
Mhm.
So by the time I got to the Truman, but I didn't really get a chance to really do too much volunteer stuff on the Truman because we did deployment stuff.
Yeah.
But when I linked up with Buchanan and people
Mhm.
like that, when we was there, we was able to create stuff. So we
Oh,
was able
wow.
to create stuff and do stuff, and then that's when the gears started turning and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I was, in my mind, I was getting ready to go into teaching. So everybody at
Mm.
NMC, that Oceana, everybody had degrees. Everybody was
Right.
on point. So I was
Right.
like, oh my, so made sure I got my degree, made sure I did all those things. That's what we all did. We all was phenomenal. So everybody was phenomenal. So the competition was tough. So
tough.
you was
Yeah,
around
it
people
was
that was
tight.
doing their thing. So
Yeah.
it forced you to be on top of your stuff. So, but I wanted to be a teacher at that time, but it didn't work out that way because the comedy crashed. So, 08, 09 time
yeah,
frame.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
I'm like, nope, I ain't about to go into teaching. I ain't about to struggle. So, and then I met my wife volunteering at that time frame. So, yeah, I was heavily volunteering all over the place at that
Oh,
time
wow.
frame. So, like NMC, that Oceana, like I had a whole summer off, like unheard of. Whole summer, I was volunteering doing stuff for drug education for youth in Virginia Beach.
What?
And that's how I met I know, right? So I'm telling you, like my whole career has been blessings. So every time I've done something to give back to others, it's always been other blessings. And it's to this day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this day.
That's cool. That's cool.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to the we talking about ordinance and the two females right now serving on the Truman, two black female mass chiefs that's out there doing their thing. So that's a big accomplishment to see that. For me, I praise that. Now one of them gets on my nerves, but
I already know which one it is.
I can't. It's like I can't. It's like I can't. She just gets on my nerves, but I just
Which one?
ain't nothing I can do. No, I would never name no
It's
names.
Creature.
No. So, but it's all love to my little sister.
Yeah.
Bless her heart.
Yeah, I served with her before. She the truth.
She the truth.
Oh yeah.
She the truth, and she want to let you know that she's the truth. So that's like, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, yeah. But she gonna tap her game. Mad love to her. And like I said, both of them.
Okay.
Tawisha as well as like out there. Like I say, two female mass chiefs, AO mass chiefs run it out there in weapons department. So that's mad love. So volunteering has been with you for a long time.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like.
It is like something that you had a rough life growing up. You seen some things, done some things. You joined the military, and you seen like how people can come together, and it's like when you give back, those blessings come.
Right.
Those blessings come. And this is the life that you want to live, like to give back, and it's therapeutic for you. So talk about your company, or before we get there, what made you do 20 years and say, you know what, I'm gonna get out and start my own, nonprofit?
Okay.
Cause you chief, you got some years you can do.
Oh yeah.
And you can go to shore duty.
Yeah. So I made sure that I did back-to-back C towards the end. So the G-Dub was my back-to-back because I had did the WASP and then I did the G-Dub.
Oh,
so I could retire on shore duty.
Okay.
So when I did it, I was like, yep, it makes sense. But when I was going through it, I was like,
yeah.
But it paid off in the end. Because when I was on shore duty, I was able to continue that volunteering stuff that I was doing.
Mhm.
And in the process, I didn't even know that I was going to learn valuable skills that I would need to enter into the nonprofit world. So I could learn how to fund, an organization and things like that. And that made a difference for Volunteer Vet because I was able to work on Volunteer Vet a lot, while I was on shore duty. So
Yeah.
So, before we transition to that, I had a couple of more questions, right? Because it's like you said, and everybody need to pay attention to that. You said you went to mass, but the quality of your work, content of your character, volunteering and stuff like that or whatever, will save you a couple of times. So you came into this organization with the volunteer mindset.
Right.
So it's just like, what was it? Was it just, on the ship, they asked you to volunteering and you kept doing it? Or, like Ty was saying earlier, like what kind of put that fire in you?
I think for me it was some of that, but I think mainly it was throughout my life I've been helped in so many different stages of my life.
Mhm.
So I always wanted to make sure that I did things to give back. So,
Gotcha.
and once I started to see, the power of influence,
Mhm.
in the
Mhm.
Navy, and how you can do good things, and make, people come together and then have a positive impact with that.
Yeah.
I started to create things.
Mhm.
So when I started to create things, and then, just of course it'll garner attention or whatever the case may be. But, the impact is what, kind of became like a high,
Mhm.
Okay.
so to speak.
I understand
So
that.
and then, once I did something, I'm like, oh, well, we can do this. And then, as I started to do things and, ideas just start
Mhm.
flowing through me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I have to
Yeah.
get them out, because if I don't get them out,
Yeah.
it's going to bug me. It's going to irk
Right.
me.
Right.
So I have to, put pen to paper, or, and start taking those steps to make sure those things are happening. So it was more of all the help that I got in my life, I want to just pay it forward somehow, some way. And,
Mm.
you know, the military was a good um avenue with, the things that we could do to go out in the community and be ambassadors, you know, and it just made sense. So it made a lot of things easy for me to do a lot of the things that I wanted to do in the community through the military.
And then, like you said before, as some, um, people in your family was police officers and
Hmm.
stuff like that. And you even said it, like you saw yourself doing some kind of civil service
Yeah.
work. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of makes sense. Second question, you did 20 years,
Yes.
right? Commend you for that. Thank you for your service. Uh, at what point did you in your career say, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do 20, or was it just, okay, let me just re-enlist one more time. Let me just re-enlist one more time.
Let's see. So I wanted to be a teacher. The economy went, you know, housing stuff and all that
Yeah.
stuff happened, '08 time frame. So I re-enlisted again and I went to the WASP.
Mm.
I still wasn't sold on retiring.
So at this
Mhm.
point, like at this point, you probably over 10 though, right?
Yeah, I was halfway. I
So,
was halfway. So, but at that
Ooh,
time,
that's a tough decision.
at
yeah.
that time frame, like you said, the great people that you just mentioned, I was
Yeah.
around them,
Mhm.
and just they presence and all the things that we was
Yeah.
doing, everybody fed off each other.
Right.
Mhm.
So
Right. 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 Right.
when I
Right.
left there, I was like, I'm about to go take over. You know what I mean? So I'm about to go take over
Yeah.
where I go. It's nothing, and it was. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
that's what I did.
Right. Right.
So,
Right. Right.
everything came easy. And, and then, I realized like the power of influence. The power of
Right.
influence was greater. And then, I
Okay.
was able to do greater things. I was able
Yeah.
to coordinate widespread community service events
Mhm.
in multiple locations at the same time, yielding tons and tons and tons of non-perishable foods for food drives and toy drives or whatever the case may be.
And
And
this in Oceana or this in Cali?
this was in Oceana. So
Okay.
Oh, okay.
in California, when I got to California, it was crazy because I transferred from the G-Dub right before COVID hit. So I was
Mhm.
traveling to California, and as soon as I got to California, literally like 2 days after I got to California, the whole world shut down. Yeah. So I couldn't do anything.
So
Dang.
Yeah.
before we get to that,
Right.
so to answer that question, you kind of your commitment to 20 came after the 10-year mark.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
my
And
commitment to 20 actually came on the G-Dub, because I was going to be done with the Navy because
so you way past
You
10.
way past
Yeah,
10. You got paid.
no, I was at
You like
13.
13.
I was at 13.
Okay.
I was at 13 years, and all of the stuff
You was
that
contemplating about getting out of the Navy
yes,
at 13
I
years?
was at 13 years
You must
because
have kept that to yourself.
no, I didn't. No, I'm
On
not
the GW?
on the GW. You wasn't there. You wasn't
I was
there.
about to say, that's why I said you must have to keep that to
You wasn't
yourself.
there. So
Ain't no way.
yeah. So I was
Way.
right.
Hell
So
no.
I
You
was
wouldn't have got it out of my hand.
I was gonna get out the
You
Navy.
said 6 or 7. All right, what's the
No.
plan? What we gonna do?
Nope,
But
I was-
13?
13. I was gonna get out the Navy. So everything that I was dealing with on the G-Dub at that time frame, it was a lot.
Yeah.
Any ism that you can think of, from unprofessionalism to sexism to racism. I mean, the isms are strong. You know, they
Yeah.
was isming, if that's a
Yeah.
word. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was dealing with a whole bunch of stuff. But during that time frame, I linked up with a lot of people that are actually on my board for volunteer vet that were on the GW that were your sailors.
You mean like your board of governors?
Yeah,
right?
yep. Board of
What?
directors. Yep.
Directors, I'm sorry.
Yep. So 2 of them. Actually 3, because but he wasn't there when you was there. So it was one of my good friends, and he a retired chief AO named Timothy Greer. He just retired. He retired a couple months before me.
Okay.
And he was on the Truman too, but I know him since like day one, like A school. You know, so and
Wow.
that's so
Wow.
he's on my board.
That's connections, man.
Yep. And he's on my
Yeah.
board, and then Corey Knox.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Corey Knox is on my board. Yeah. Corey Knox.
Wow.
Yeah. Me and Corey like this. Corey Knox on my board.
Y'all
and-
running mates.
yeah, and then
Dumb
Jamie
and Dumber.
Jamie
Yeah,
then Jamie
those 2 boys.
yeah, Jamie
Good Lord have mercy.
yeah. But so
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
yeah, so
Couldn't tell them nothing. Like they know every goddamn thing.
yeah, so but I mean so
But they took care of business.
right, so when
I'm not saying y'all took care of business.
when you met me, I was already after the time frame where I was fighting all of those isms, but I wasn't fighting those isms because of me. I was
Yeah.
fighting those isms because of other sailors. Because what the other sailors was going through.
I can agree to that.
Right. And I was.
Yeah.
And that's probably
Yeah.
maybe some of the stuff that you heard.
Yeah.
But you know, so once I seen some of those things, I had to take action because it's already hard enough being black in the Navy.
Mhm.
So and then you see certain things, and then you know you got to call them out. So then when you
Yeah.
call them out, now you the black sheep. So
Right.
you know, so they was like, all right, well, we can't send you to the mess decks because you know you're too headstrong. You're gonna bump heads with people. I'm not. I don't hold my tongue. I'm not a
Yeah.
hold my tongue type person.
Yeah.
Never have, never will be. So I worked in engineering department. So because the ship was getting ready to go into the yards.
Right.
So, but you know, you got to understand, I have a huge admin, maintenance, process background.
Yeah.
Very, very in tune with processes and how everything works
Right.
and making sure things go the way they're supposed to go. So I worked hand in hand with the ship maintenance manager at the time. So when I'm doing that, you know, they was like, all right, you got a big background in 3M. We just go around to every space and make sure every space has, you know, all the jobs it's supposed to have, man. So I'm over there, inspect the gadget.
Mm.
That's wrong. That's wrong. Yep. So then bam, like in a couple months, I had a NAM. So then when I came back to the department, because you know you gotta get in the department, they were like, yo,
Yeah.
how you get in there? Blah,
Right.
blah.
Right.
I'm
right.
like, do what I'm supposed to do. You know what I mean? You know, so the stuff that you heard, it was just, you know, a ism, you
Right,
know,
right.
because I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So
right.
long story short, the same person, one of the people that's on the on my board, he really talked to me. He was like, look, bro, we came in together and we gotta finish this together.
Right.
So nah, you're not about to not finish this out. You worked hard.
Yeah.
And you know, and he was like, all the stuff that you doing, you fighting for these sailors, like you fight for yourself too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, don't give up your pension because you know somebody else is, you know, on some other stuff, and
Right.
you know, you done been through too much. So, and then my father was getting close to retirement at that time. So when I told him, I was like, yeah, I can retire at 20 years. He was like, boy, if you don't shut the hell up, you better
Yeah.
finish that out. So
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
between good friend,
But
know,
you could do that though.
yeah. And that's what made me actually like, all right, you got to stick this out.
Mhm.
Do your 20. And I'm glad I did because at that time frame, I really started to see. And once I had said that in the department and I knew I was, you know, out of the department, it was so many people that was, I didn't know the impact that I was having on sailors,
Uh-huh.
you know, from all of the different community stuff I was doing, all of the different stuff that I was doing, the impact that I was having, you know,
Yeah.
until they really started telling me like, no, we need people like you.
Mhm.
Please don't go. Please don't leave. You know,
Right,
stuff like that.
Right.
So
Right.
You know, and then with the ship being in the yards, you know,
Right.
there's a lot of opportunities for volunteering and stuff
Yeah.
like that too. I can only imagine.
oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's good stuff. That's good stuff, especially like the give back. You know, I created something when I was on the Ford. It was like a you know how every year the Chiefs go to DC, you know.
Mhm.
I started like a thing where take all the sailors to DC, you know,
Mm.
out of different departments,
Right.
you know. Because some people, you know, they come from Cali, Texas, Florida. They never been to DC.
Mhm.
And there's so much history up there to see.
Yeah.
So I was like, we'll just take a van up there and just go up there and let people, explore. So that's good. Like giving back in that way. And that's something that was like burning in you,
Yeah.
And you at this 20-year mark because you can say, well, I can still do it while I'm on active duty because you're on shore duty.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can still grow and do what you got to do. But what was it to say, like, you know what? This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm asking this because we living in a time now, like you said a second ago, you could retire at 20 years and literally retire and live, especially if you got your affairs in order.
Right.
Some people do more, and it's like, oh, I know you might be doing, you got to be doing really well. Some people dual retired military, living well. So getting back with you, like, what made you say, you know what, Nas got to go shoot for my goal. This is what I see. This is my vision. So I got to go. I thank you for the Navy, the military. I got to go and do this thing. What was that?
There's a little bit of IOUness again.
Yeah.
So when I went to Cali, you know how you guys sailors, and depending on what they introduced to and the type of caliber of sailors that they around, helps groom them, and shape them to who they going to be, as leaders. So we started a AO association over there,
Yeah.
and of course, you need to raise funds. So we close to LA, so I'm like, look, second largest media market in the country. I was like, there's a lot of things that we can get involved in. So I reached out to a nonprofit to do fundraising at SoFi Stadium in LA.
Wow.
And so when I did that, they was like, oh yeah, y'all can do the Rams and Chargers season, and y'all can do the Super Bowl. So everybody like, oh, we lit, so we did that. So when I was doing that,
What?
So when we was doing that, so we did the whole Rams Chargers season, Super Bowl, whole nine. But I took it a step further than just the AO Association, and then I opened it up to the whole naval base Ventura County. So we had hundreds of sailors that was a part of it.
Oh, no doubt.
Oh yeah, hundreds of sailors. So but at the time I didn't realize I was making
strength in numbers.
Yeah, right. At the time I didn't realize I was making connections with SoFi Stadium. I didn't really think about it like that, and then
because they looking at you like he got all these people with him,
right? And I was
They
coordinating.
don't know, like, he got all these
easy.
people with him. We can get him at these people here all the time.
Yeah. So all of the
Yeah.
stuff that I learned from all these years of doing stuff and coordinating different things, so it just made it so much more easier. Where I didn't even really have to do as much because I was already made for it from doing stuff within the mess, from doing fundraising and stuff. But I was doing in every mess that I became a part of.
all that.
Yeah, so it was real easy. And once I started, once I did that, the nonprofit that I was working with, they was like, hey, we want you to coordinate some stuff for us, all over the West Coast. So I started coordinating for the Raiders. I started coordinating for the Seahawks.
What?
Yeah. Raiders, Seahawks, Denver Broncos, San Diego Padres, all over the West Coast. So,
So
and
that was kind of like a gift because I was
Yeah.
going to ask you earlier, because you've been in VA, you've been in 757 from what, like 06 till like 20, pretty much, because you said you transferred around COVID time, so you was well established in volunteering. So you get over there, like you got nothing.
Yeah.
And the SoFi Stadium just kind of opened the door
Yeah.
for you to just keep doing what you're doing.
It did. And once I started doing all that, man, it just a light bulb just went off because I knew I wanted to start a nonprofit. I knew I wanted to do something in the community. And one of the things throughout all my community service in multiple different places that I seen was how society affected us as veterans. And then, from my time early on, volunteering in Hampton Roads, where it's at a homeless shelter or, we doing something, feeding the homeless or whatever the case may be. And then you talking to these people and then, they start telling you, their life and they veterans. And I'm like, what? You was in the Marines, you was in the Army? Like, I'm like, yo, what happened? And then, and then you realize that could be me. That could be you. That could be whoever, and then when I really went to LA, I really seen
Yeah, it's
because
bad.
LA has the
It's
largest
bad.
homeless veteran population in the
Yeah.
country. It's a lot. So I realized that I need to do something. Not only do I need to do something for veterans, but I need to do something in the community, at large anyway. But the nonprofit fundraising in the stadiums and arenas across the country will be a way to do that. And it was just like a vision. I just had a vision. I was at the Super Bowl. I was at the Super Bowl in 2022 when the Rams won it all. So we got to see everything. So when the Rams won it all in 2022, I just had a vision and I just seen it. I was already in 2025
Mhm.
at that time in 2022. And then like when I looked at it, I'm like, I wasn't in the moment because I was so forward thinking in everything that I was, how I was going to do this for fundraising, how I was going to do this flyer, how I was going to do this website, what was I going to call the company? You know what I mean? I was thinking about all of those things, and that's how it's always been.
Wow.
So it's been crazy. It's been crazy. So everything has come to pass. So like when I retired in 2023, I was just, at home, obviously I'm waiting on my retirement check and
Yeah.
I'm waiting, getting my disability
Ability.
stuff together and things like that. But, I had already started fundraising for Volunteer Vet. Volunteer Vet got approved pretty quick. The avenues that's needed to take for, tax exempt status for nonprofits and things like that, it was pretty quick for Volunteer Vet. Once I wrote letters and told them what we was doing and what I wanted to do and what we was trying to do, it was approved in record time. And usually it would take 6 months or longer for tax exempt. I got it in 2
Volunteer
weeks.
vet.
2 weeks.
That word vet is powerful.
Yeah, it is. And that's what I knew, that I was like, everything happens for a reason. I retired on March 31st of 2023. I was fundraising in NRG Stadium in Houston for the Final Four on April 1st. My first day of retirement. I was fundraising at the Final Four for Volunteer Vet.
Well, I remember seeing you down
Yeah.
there.
And that's when you was starting the stuff that you was starting. And I was like, man, he doing it. I was like, and I wanted to show support so bad, but I was like, I gotta go down here and fundraise.
Yeah,
and,
that's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Yep,
right.
that was my first day of
That
retirement.
was your first one.
My first day of retirement. And it's been nonstop since then. So I was just doing coordinating
Bro, I'm
stuff.
seeing you. I'm like, this dude here.
Yeah.
He there.
Coordinating stuff from the couch. And then like,
man, that's
the way that Volunteer
That's
Vet
dope.
is growing, it's growing organically. I don't want it to grow too big, too fast.
Yeah.
But it's word of mouth stuff because I'm working with Chiefs in Carolina. I'm working with Chiefs in LA. I'm working with Chiefs in Dallas. I'm working with I'm working with people all over the place. So they gonna tell this group, they gonna tell this group, and then it's
And all the places that you just named got veterans.
it's veterans
Deep.
everywhere, deep everywhere. So that's why I was like, I wanted Volunteer Vet to be so many different things. Obviously, to give services for veterans, but to provide volunteer opportunities for military and veterans, and fundraising opportunities for military and veterans, and become a one-stop shop for the entire country.
Yeah.
So you in Seattle, you in Bremerton, wherever, you can do stuff up there. You can do stuff in San Francisco area, San Diego, LA. The list goes on and on. VA. So like this year, we just expanded a lot. So, last year, I was doing stuff from the couch, figuring things out. And, we had a modest fundraising year. This year it's been over 6 figures, so just, yeah.
So when you say fundraising and these different events and everything, like what they bring y'all in to do what specifically?
So most of the times it's concession stands. So
Okay.
where you'll get a percentage of the sale of food and alcohol. And most times, like say like we have a mess, like let's say the Stennis or who else is over here?
Somebody here in 757.
in 757.
Stennis, Bush,
Stennis Bush,
Truman still.
right. So and I picked up a contract with the Norfolk Tides, so and we did that whole season, and it was phenomenal. Had a good time, and so we had different chief messes that was going in and doing stuff.
Yeah.
So much to this year. So next year we're gonna have it. So you know how different messages can come in and they can do the
Mhm.
things they need to do. So, but when I was there, and they would have shortfalls on whatever mess, I was like streamline all of that, and volunteer vet can take care of all of that, and then they'll all come through volunteer vet. So that's probably what happened for 2025.
Okay. So the stadiums reach out to you for concessions, and then you just find people in that area
Right.
to volunteer.
Well, no, the stadiums don't reach out to me. So I reach out to whatever stadium,
Okay.
So and last year was my first year being really aggressive with the fundraising.
Okay.
Because somebody be like, oh, you don't got nothing in this area, and then I'll be like, all right, well, let me reach out to AT&T Stadium, and
Gotcha.
and go from there. And then every time I reached out to a stadium or arena or Major League Baseball, minor league baseball organization, it's always been met with love. It's always been met with we can accommodate you and things like that.
Mhm.
So and when people see me traveling from different places, and I get to meet volunteers, I get to meet different messes, different groups that we coordinating with, and they fundraising with us, and it's been overwhelming. So like I just recently came back from Los Angeles, and it was like a full circle moment, because when I was there before I retired, and I had the thoughts and ideas for volunteer vet to 2 years later, I'm still fundraising there, and now I'm working with like 12 different groups in Los Angeles
Yeah.
alone, that's constantly doing stuff. So like throughout a week, it's multiple different events that I'm coordinating from all over the country. You know what I mean? Whether it's a Monday night football game or whether it's, yeah. So it's crazy.
And you just reach out to the local Chiefs messes or
Yeah.
things in that area to
Um
come on
so
board.
for here in Hampton Roads, obviously I know different people and people know people, so
right,
the
right,
word of mouth is real easy for Hampton Roads. But for other places where I haven't really been and I don't know, I would use Facebook or Instagram, for advertising, paid advertising, and then somebody from whoever wherever they'll see it, and then they'll contact me, and then we'll go and we'll make sure they're taken care of.
Gotcha. Okay. And so you said you wanted volunteer vets to have so many different layers and do so many things. So
Right.
aside from, concession stands and
Right.
stuff like that, what other services do you provide for the vets?
So right now, we're just obviously these first 2 years have just been fundraising. So because I haven't applied for any grant, anything like that, because the fundraising stuff just took a life of its own. So
Yeah.
I ain't even
It
really
can keep
had
you
time
busy.
to, because
It
it's
can keep you
been
busy.
it's been
Yeah.
keeping me busy.
Yeah.
So I haven't even applied for any grants and things like that. So but once we get proper funding, I wanted one of the first things I want to do. Well, one of the first things I am going to do, say it like that,
That's right.
is going to
That's
be
right.
have a multi-purpose building here in Hampton Roads
Okay.
that's going to provide some of the services I want to provide, as far as like food bank stuff and
Okay.
stuff like that we do. And then eventually I want to get to the point where volunteer vet got VSOs, and then and volunteer vet can be a actual skill bridge and stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So it's a lot of stuff. And
Yeah.
I know it's going to happen. So
Yeah.
and then I actually get some staff to help me out.
There you go.
Okay.
I'll be
There
all
you
right.
go.
Because right now you kind of doing everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
almost a one-man band, but
You got
it's
to
worth
build it brick by brick.
Yeah, brick by brick,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
it's going
Yeah.
good. I can't complain, man.
Yeah. That's one thing I give to him. That he that's how he is. He thinks brick by brick. Me, I'm like slapping 2 bricks on and put another. Yeah. Yeah. Like he like, nah, we got to brick by brick. You got to learn your product.
Yeah.
You got to learn your product.
Right, so right now, you said pretty much a one-man show on a day-to-day
Right.
operations and stuff like that. You spoke earlier to some of the people that's part of your board of directors
Right.
and things like that or whatever. So if someone wanted to help and assist you right now, like for one, how can they reach you and everything like that? And what would they be helping you with?
Okay. Somebody wanted to help out. They can either go to info@volunteervet.org, email that, or gerald@volunteervet.org, or they can go to the website, and on the website it has a volunteer tab, and they can just click on the volunteer tab, and then it has different prompts and things like that, and then use the box where they can put a message in and things like that. A lot of people do that too. So right now for me, like if the administrative stuff that I really need help with, and as far as like letters,
Mm.
like volunteer letters. I'm backed up on volunteer
Oh
letters. I
yeah.
feel so bad too, but like, cause it's a ton of them in LA and it's a ton of them in Dallas, and I did real good on on all the Virginia's, people that needed different letters and things like that.
You talking about them sailors when they
Oh,
Right.
them sales. Oh,
Yeah,
they gotta get the
because
hours.
yeah, because
to put
we
over Eva.
right we use
Yeah.
those things, and it helps our evaluations and stuff like that. So, and that's one of the things that I take joy in doing. But
Yeah.
the day-to-day stuff, because I got a accountant that's on my head,
Right,
they be
right,
like,
right.
it's this many uncategorized transactions or whatever.
Right.
And then I got to make sure I'm on top of all that stuff, and everything else, so when it's different groups fundraising with you, obviously it's
Right.
it's money going here, it's money going
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
and then it's the cost to operate everything,
Right.
so you got to stay on top of all of that stuff. So for the most part, as far as like what I really want a team to focus on is the community service part that I haven't really been able to really get to, because I've been stuck in the world of fundraising, and I'm good at it, but
Yeah.
it's not where my heart is. My heart is, doing the gritty stuff. So when people say, "Oh, you're doing this," and congratulations, and all that stuff, that's great. But to me, I feel I haven't done anything,
I got you.
because I
got
feel that
you.
I haven't helped one veteran. I've helped lots of organizations.
Okay.
I help
I see
lots
what you're
of military organizations, lots of veteran organizations. I help people that are doing cancer research. I've helped people that have a youth basketball team, cheerleading team, whatever it is. I've helped them, and that's great. But my main purpose, I haven't really been able to do that to the effect that I really want to. So once I'm able to tackle food insecurities for veterans, once I'm able to combat homelessness, then I feel that I've done something. And I probably never feel that I've done enough. Never. To be honest, I probably never feel that I've done enough.
Yeah.
But those are the things that I really need to I really need help with the small admin stuff, and then as I start to grow and get a multi-purpose business, so different day-to-day things and stuff like that. That's what I really need help with.
Yeah. You remember Miss Davis? She was a civilian lady, and her husband was Commander Davis. He was an AO. She was one of them ERCs on a G-Dub with us. Yeah. Miss Davis. But anyway, I was telling her one day, I was about to retire. I said, man, I gotta keep giving back. I gotta keep, that's just something in me. Like, I just gotta keep giving back. She said, you know what? She said, you gave back enough. She said, you gave back enough. So you don't owe nobody nothing. Anybody that served in the military, they gave. They gave in ways that people will never understand.
Right.
And then when you retire, like, what you did, and you like, wow, I could do this. And think about it, you having fun doing it. It's like, this is what you want to do. I did my time, I'm retired, but now I'm doing something that I want to do and I enjoy doing it. So hey man, I'm listening to this, hearing you talk about it. I'm so proud of you, man. Like, and you like it's good to see that, and I'm like, man, I know this dude. He in like in these stadiums. He's getting like, I know this dude, and he's having fun, and you growing. You growing. You create, the lane was there in many different ways, but you created your own lane. You created your own lane. I ain't stepping on nobody. I ain't doing nothing else. I'm just connecting with the people that I do business with. That I associate with. For 20 something years. So that's love, man. That's love, and stick with it, because it's going to grow. It's going to get you that vision that you're talking about, and the passion that you have is going to get you to where you want to be. And when you get there, that's when you decide, I did enough.
Yeah.
Because you're going to keep fighting it no matter what. If I tell you, hey man, you good, you don't owe nobody nothing. Mentally, yeah, you hear me, but inside, you just want to keep giving and giving and giving. And you got a story to tell. You definitely got a story to tell. So thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for showing love.
Problem.
Thanks for just doing what you do. we definitely got to get you back on. Maybe one day we can go out there with you and volunteer and do it like that.
You know what's crazy? It's like I'm sitting here and I'm just thinking to myself, like, even how he got in the Navy, he was supporting somebody else.
Supporting somebody else.
He was helping somebody else. He didn't want to go down there and take the asphalt.
Yeah.
I'm supporting my
Support
man.
my man. That's giving back.
He didn't even come
Right.
in. That's
I ain't come here for this.
He came in like this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Despite all the things that you dealt with and been through growing up, like, you know, you always find a way. You know, the city where we come from is no different from somebody living down south.
Right.
You know, they all got issues, they all got problems, but you can always be that person to kind of like shine that light to like, okay, I got to keep going. I know where I'm from. You know, I know where I'm from. I know what I got going on, but I can do better.
Right.
I can do better, man. You know, is there anybody that you want to show love to? Like, you know, they.
Oh, my board of directors. So is Jamie. And she was a AO, but you know she went the officer route, and now she in the medical stuff. And you know she was
on your team too.
Yeah. So at that time we was on the G-Dub. Like I said, when you surrounding yourself around people that's going to help uplift you. So her, Corey Knox, you know, Timothy Greer. So those are the people that you know I talk to regularly about, you know, what I wanted to do in the community because I was already doing community events. So, you know, we would talk about it. And then I was like, all right, well, I'm going to give them this 20 and then I'm going to start, you know, I mean, nonprofit. You know, I just actually follow through with it. You know? But those are the people, you know, that I definitely want to tell them thank you. Thank you just for just listening. Thank you for, you know what I mean, just being the voice of reason. And, you know, every time I run an idea by them and things like that. So when I was crossing my T's and dotting my I's or whatever, and I would hit them up about different things and send them, you know, drafts for, you know, tax exempt stuff and articles of incorporation and anything else that it take to start a nonprofit corporation. And there's a lot. So, you know, I was running everything by them and they was looking at different things and stuff like that. And they give honest feedback. You know, so,
right. And you need that.
Yeah, so I'm grateful.
I know some of them individuals too. I know Jamie, so yeah.
It's a small Navy community. But that's always tell people. I was like, you know, when you be good to people and you there with good intentions, you know, you'll have a good network, you know, of people, you know. So I never had to worry about, you know, not being able to do things and not, you know, being able to go to people and get things done and, you know, get good advice from so many different people. So even from when I worked with you and, you know, I needed to get over the hump to make chief, you know, I had certain people that would say, you know, certain things that you need to do, but, you know, you was like, these are some of the things that you need to make sure you had. And I know I had most of those things, but I needed to make sure that I, you know, locked in to make sure that I did the stuff that I needed to do. And I appreciated that stuff. And then, you know, once you see people how they carry themselves, like I seen how you carry yourself, you know, when it came to how you conducted business and how you held people to a standard. And that's, you know, a lot of times some people, they be like, I don't rock with him. They might not rock with me because they be like, oh, he too arrogant, or, you know, his personality too strong, you know, but I'm going to hold you to a standard because I hold myself to a standard. So I'm not going to, you know, I don't fall for anything. So you're not going to just, you know, say whatever and then, you know, I'll fall for it. So, but,
that's good, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what's in the future for you. You know, like you said, you in 22, 23, but you was in 25.
Yeah.
So we in 24 right now. So where you at?
I'm in 2027 right now.
27 right now.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm in 2027 right now.
And I'm sure it look bright.
Yeah, it does. Bright. So, you know, yeah. But I'm definitely in 2027.
That's what's up. Well, again, congratulations and thank you for your service, for your 20 years and what you're continuing to do for our brothers and sisters who served alongside you, you know, and for the ones that's going to be coming along, you know what I mean? So we definitely need you. We need to support you and get behind you and give you what you need, you know.
I appreciate that. I'm glad to do it. Glad to be of service. again.
That's
Okay.
love. Hey, thank you for coming through. Thank you for doing what you do, man. And for the rest of y'all, hey, live out your life. We're not guaranteed 5 minutes from now. Just live your life. Do what you got to do. Have fun. Enjoy. I mean, everybody don't have to have that same fire and passion like him and bringing that out and giving back. But you find your lane. Find your lane. Be happy with it. Enjoy it. You serve. Did your time. No matter how many years, no matter how many months, but just be a blessing to yourself and keep doing what you're doing. At these podcasts, soon we'll be talking about last little go like a Hall of Fame is throwing another party again in March. March 29th to be exact. So gonna be in Hampton, VA at the Rhythm Room. Getting these things together. So all the info will be out. Show up, support, show love. We living, y'all. We living. So thanks. At ease.